Plaintiff Ron Ray has known the defendant for nearly 10 years. And when Ron went to college, the defendant went to jail for drugs. Ron claims he and the defendant later became roommates, but instead of paying the rent, the defendant spent all his money on his boyfriend. So he's suing. Defendant Zach Bain insists Ray also went to jail for drugs. And although he does help take care of his boyfriend, Zach doesn't spend all of his money on him. Zach insists he tried to pay Ron, but he refused to take his money.
Start with you.
Okay, Your Honor. So it's a standard case of a friend taking advantage of another friend. We've known each other for 9, 10 years, really long time. I ended up going off to college. He actually went to jail for drugs. Later on, decided it'd be a good idea to move in together. You know, we've been friends for a long time. At first, it was no problem at all. You know, January was fine, deposit, first month's rent.
What was the agreement?
The agreement was for a year long. It was for $1,500 in rent plus all utilities.
$750 each?
It was $500. We have a third roommate.
Okay.
And again, you know, January was fine, no issue. February came around, things got a little weird. Started falling behind on bills, spending all his time, all his money, going out with his boyfriend, not living up to his portion of the third of the rent. I actually had to cover him, which wasn't an issue at first. I've known him for a long time. Got a check from his grandma for his portion of rent. You know, when your grandma's paying your bills, you messed up, something's a little wrong there. Things got worse, you know, time went on. He kept saying he was gonna pay. He didn't end up paying.
So what do you think, his boyfriend was taking his money?
Well, you know, they go out together to eat.
So he's tricking it off on his boyfriend.
Well, no. I mean, the thing is that, you know, when you have the bills, you put your priorities first. I have a girlfriend. I still take care of my bills. You know, I have student loans. I'm in grad school. I put my priorities first before, you know, you come out, going out to eat, going out to drink when it comes to all those things.
Correct. And that's typical, but when you got a relationship where there's an imbalance in terms of the spending habits, you're lavishing gifts on them regardless of the consequences, then that's a little something different.
Plaintiff Ron Ray says he and the defendant were roommates, but instead of paying the bills, the defendant spent all of his money on his boyfriend.
So let me hear from you, sir. He says you're tricking off your money with your boyfriend and not paying your rent. Now, I'm putting it plainly. He's trying to talk nice about it. That's what he's saying. I don't know whether you know it or not. Go ahead.
It's very untrue. So I do take care of him, definitely, but not to that extent. So Ron and I do go back pretty far, about 10 years or so. He was also in the same boat as I was with the drugs and jail time. So we had our young...
also?
I never went to jail, Your Honor.
Yeah.
I had no issue with that.
Well,
go ahead.
Anyway,
he was a dope fiend. Is that what you're saying?
No, it was a business back in the day.
Huh?
Back in the day.
You mentioned it.
Well, sir,
you act like you want to be evasive now. You mentioned it.
Thank you.
Well,
go ahead. Don't mention something you're not willing to expound on.
Well,
go ahead, son.
Either way, I did clean my act up 6 years now. Cleaned up. I take it very seriously. As far as when we moved in,
what was the agreement?
The agreement was we all pay $500 each, all three of us. I was paying him through cash, Ron. And then I did get behind in March. I was in between jobs, got back to my old job, and he ended up refusing payment.
Why?
He would prefer me to leave. He told me that it was time to go.
What month was this? When was this?
This was March 19th, I believe, middle of March.
March 19th, he said, don't pay for the month of March?
Correct. He said that
isn't rent due before March 19th? When is rent due?
Thank you.
Yeah, it was at the beginning of March, middle of March, somewhere around there.
What was middle of March? The rent due?
The rent was due on the 1st of March.
Right.
Yeah.
And you say he told you don't pay for March.
Correct.
19 days after being there in March.
Yeah. He would prefer me to leave even though we were both on the agreement.
And what did you do?
And then I tried to pay it, and he refused it.
You
He
were
would
supposed to
rather-
have paid it March 1st.
Correct.
What am I missing? That on March 19th, you have not paid it yet, and that is when he tells you he wants you to leave. Maybe I shouldn't be missing it. Maybe the fact is, yes, you were to pay on March 1st, you hadn't by March 19th, and that's when he said, yes, you need to leave because you're not paying.
And on my end here, before that even happened, we had a lot of disagreements as far as the home. You know, it's like a college home, a frat house.
I went to college.
Why did he say he wanted you to leave?
Well, I think it had a lot to do with me being gay, and you know.
He didn't know that
issues-
when you moved in?
No.
How long after moving in did he find out you were gay?
Shortly after, once the boyfriend was coming around, and
And did he make any comments regarding your sexual orientation?
yes,
Tell me.
that he preferred that me and my gay boyfriend moved.
Did he say because you're gay?
He didn't say because we were gay.
So where are you getting this belief that he wanted you out
There-
because you were gay? Or are
there-
you playing the gay card?
No, sir.
Obviously.
That's what they say about black folks.
No.
We mention discrimination, and we even mention somebody there he goes, playing the race card. So all right, there he goes, playing the gay card. If he hadn't mentioned anything about taking action or a failure to take action against you because of your sexual orientation, doesn't mean that. When people describe me, they might say, hey, Doyle and the black guy. That doesn't mean that he's saying anything negative about me. He's just making a description of who I am. So he made a description of who your boyfriend is, your gay boyfriend. That doesn't say I'm defaming, I'm discriminating, or I'm denigrating. And for you to take that as discrimination, I think you're using that defense and you're using discrimination as an illegitimate defense, sir.
Plaintiff Ron Ray says he and the defendant were roommates, but instead of paying the bills, the defendant spent all of his money on his boyfriend.
Your boyfriend wants to speak.
Yeah,
Do you want
please.
him to speak?
Please, yes.
All right, come on, stand up. State your name.
Hi, I'm Nick Rosario.
What do you want to tell me?
I've been in the house with them since December, and I didn't know Ron ever since until then. And it's been evident to me that how Ron keeps his house in order is not how we keep the house in order. We've had to do more than
Got it. I got that
share.
part. Now, what else
But
do you want to
also,
tell me?
I want to put out there that when we tried to talk with him about this situation, when we tried to come to an agreement, it always turned into
Okay,
a
you're not
drunk-
on the lease. It's him. I thought you
Yes.
were standing to tell me something he did or said discriminating against you because of your sexual orientation. That's the
preferred-
subject we're on. That's what you threw your hand up,
Yes.
I assume, to talk about. Do you have anything to say about that? Where he has
Yes.
said or did something to you because of your sexual orientation?
Ron has not talked to us.
Thank you. Have a
because-
seat then. So he definitely couldn't if he didn't talk to you. And so tell me about the rent and bills. What months did he fail to pay?
So I've got, actually, if you want to see it, I've got city documents that show everything's in my name. Makes it easy. I've been in this situation before. Here's the lease if you want to see the lease. I've got text from the landlord saying that Zach didn't pay him. I covered his portion so that we wouldn't have late fees.
Sir, what do you say to this? Your rent.
Well, that I did attempt to pay him after that, and he refused payment. And if my name is on the lease, I feel as if I'm entitled to pay my end. And I wanted to make that correct. I wanted to make that right. But
And why do you think he wouldn't take it?
well, because it was late.
He didn't have it.
Okay. He said because he didn't have it. So you do have it to pay.
I do.
Oh, okay. Good. This case is real quick and easy.
Thank you.
All right. He has it now. Judgment for the plaintiff. He had missed the owing and he says you wouldn't take the payment, but now he's willing to give it to you and you're willing to accept it, right?
Thank you very much.
Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
I don't care if you're a horse. If you want to pay your bills, move in and pay your bills. That's all I ask. Just don't owe me money.
Well, I just have an issue with people not being able to clean and I have to be a parent when I'm living with somebody. So that's really all I have.
And then also, I feel like even having a roommate, since I've had a roommate in the past, this is not a roommate, this is a pig.